Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Human Design Coffee Talk. We are going to be chatting with Leena today and talking about what it's like deconditioning as an adult manifestor, sacral deconditioning, that whole journey that she's been on. So we're really excited to have this conversation. We've been looking forward to it. Let's see if Brandy... Hey, Andrea. Hey, Carla, good morning. Dave, good morning. Oh, you're already at work.
I am.
Wow.
Waiting for a package, so I had to be here.
Oh.
Good morning, everybody. As you're hopping on, we'd love to know who's joining us. Anything you want to tell us about your design, we would love to know. I'm in the process of fixing my coffee. I don't know if you got my voice note, Teresa, but
No.
reminder to everybody to not make mental decisions, because this morning I drink mushroom coffee every day, and then I usually just do heavy whipping cream. And sometimes I do an egg yolk, and I whip the egg yolk with sugar to make yolky coffee, and it's so good, right? So I've done that a couple days in a row just because it's been a yes. And this morning it was clearly a no. But my mind was like, but it's so good and creamy. And I was like, I'm just going to do it. You know, here's these little examples of where, you know, we could get into, we could jump out of our signature really easily. And so what do? I make the yolky coffee, and as I'm pouring the sugar on the egg to whip it, I notice I just pour a little bit too much sugar. Not a big deal, right? No, it's terrible. All of it. My coffee is like ruined. I take a drink of it and I'm like, it's like super, it's just not, and now I'm frustrated with my coffee. So yeah, real life
story.
Human design in real life. Don't make mental decisions. You know, when anything beyond, and I'm sacral, right? So it's like in that moment. But for me, anything beyond that in the moment, and I have defined spleen, but it's like, don't even do that. Just don't even do that.
Just don't. You can always feel when it's a no too.
Yes.
And you're like,
yes.
It's like your body won't even go towards the thing.
Yeah.
You do it anyways. And then it's always a, God, I knew I shouldn't have done that.
We've got a couple manifestors on here, I see.
Oh, awesome.
Which is awesome. We got I can't scroll as well. Okay, we got a 6-3 emo generator. We have a 3-5 emotional manifestor, 6-2 ego manifestor, 5-1 emotional manifestor.
Oh, there's Leena.
There's Leena.
Whoop, whoop.
Joined. Did she?
Let's see if I can. Oh, there she is. Yay.
Here we go. We got a 2-4 emotional.
Hello! Oh my God! It's my first live in my life. And this
oh my gosh! Wow, we're doing the honors of having you. That's amazing.
Oh my God, I'm so happy that you said yes. Thank you so much for that.
We were waiting. We were waiting, and our generator auras, man, they do work. Because we had been discussing having a manifestor on, and I was like, I want Leena. Like, Leena is the one that I want to talk to. And so it was like waiting, and it was like probably like a month and a half. I don't even know. I don't have any concept of time, so I don't know how long it was, but we were waiting and waiting. And then when you reached out, I told Teresa, I was like, you're never going to believe it.
Oh my God, this is so lovely to hear. Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you know why you wanted me?
What was that?
Why did you want me to kind of jump on?
I don't know what it was. It was just a feeling, like something about, and you like sharing your journey on Instagram and just being so vulnerable with it and just really diving into your experiment the way that you are. And I was like, oh, that would be great to talk about.
I just love your frequency.
It's really interesting to me because it wasn't a mental decision at all for me to actually reach out. And like, I was like, I'm freaking out. I don't know what this is. This is like, my mind is jumping in and saying, you know, like all the, oh, this is silly, this is stupid, I have nothing to say. I'm not a human design professional. I'm not this, I'm not that. I don't understand why human design covered you too, but it was just like, it just had to happen. So I'm here.
Well,
And do
apparently,
you know anything? Do you have a question?
Well, I had kind of noticed that you were like watching our videos because you'd like one, and I'd be like, oh, he's watching them. Oh, wait for it.
yes, I love the way that you talk about like your experience and the way that you are just so open about it. And I'm a sucker for somebody who's a no bullshit approach.
Yes.
So I'm just like, oh, I can feel like the fire behind what you say, and it always impacts me, everything that I read that you put out. And I think it's cool. Our whole MO here, if we had an MO, is to just bring human design into the real life world. Because, you know, there's the professional world and the analyst world, and then there's people that are just living their designs and trying to make it through. And I think it's so important to have people from all walks of life and all different experiences.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe I will become a human design professional. You never know.
Who knows? I sometimes get bit by the bug, you know?
I don't think I will, though, because I have no desire to study. No desire to study whatsoever. Like, I'm a manifestor. I don't even... There's nothing, not a part of me that wants to guide anyone. I just want to talk about myself. Like, honestly, that's the only thing I want to do. Like, literally, just storytelling. Like, I'm just not... I listen to Raz lectures and stuff, but everything is all about me. Like, I'm an ego man. Like, I'm so selfish. I'm a selfish bitch, and it's great. Oh, I'm a selfish bitch. Like, everyone should know now. Like, I will inform you right now. I swear a lot. So if you're listening to this now and children are running around, I would take headphones or something. Like, I don't know, because like, yeah, I swear a lot. Also, I'm not going to read the comments because I can't focus on two things at once.
That's okay. We can keep you informed if there's any important comments. Yeah, we need her focus.
I also enjoy that you're third lining this too and sharing it with everybody.
Oh, that feels so difficult quite often. Because it's just, I just fuck up all the time. It just is like that. And it's like, I think that's why I resonate so strongly with Sam Zager as well. It's like she was one of those people that I was like, oh, Instagram actually can be full of good information. And be relatable and actually nice. Because she's third lining everything, and I'm just like loving it so much. And I'm like, that also gave me the courage. I mean, I was always an oversharer and like saying way too much and none of those things. That's very much me. But sharing all mistakes or like mistakes in this journey, that's like a weird new thing. I also have a new phase now in my deconditioning. Everything is weird. So before, I had a phase of being in a panic, like mental panic, like proper, I don't know what's going on, and I'm crying, and then I'm sweating, and then I'm like doing all of those things. And now everything is weird. So I follow my authority, I let it move me. Nowadays, it took me a while, nearly 2 years, to actually properly being able to feel the movement in my body, to actually being able to just follow it properly. Because like I was just so conditioned out of listening to whatever is going on inside of me that there was like, it just took forever. But now I'm in the phase of everything is weird. So I follow my but my mind is like, oh yeah, this is really not how it should be. Not how it, I don't know, how you've been doing things so far. And blah, blah, blah. This is silly and this and that. And it comes out in me abusing the word weird. So everything is
everything's weird. What is, can you describe what your ego authority feels like? Because that's one that, you know, it's a little more rare, and sometimes we have people on here that have it, and it's like, what does that feel like?
I get that question a lot.
I bet.
A lot, because it's a tricky thing for me because it's unconscious. I mean, my so I just couldn't connect to it for most of my life and time and all of those things. I just didn't know what's going on. So at the very beginning, when I started my experiment, it was all about informing really and creating space. So I can rest first, like sacral burnout and all of those things. Like really, I was so fucking tired. Like 28 years of doing, like pretending that I have a sacral defined. Like, no, I was just so tired. Like there was a whole year of just lying in my bed most of the time. Like it was just so bad. But in the space that was created by eliminating resistance, it slowly kind of started to happen. But ego manifests and none of those things, like it's all in the voice. That's what they say. But it's like, but you don't know, you can't hear the frequency yourself really. Like at the very beginning, like I needed people to mirror back to me if they hear the frequency is there. But it wasn't there for so long. So what I was doing, I was really like practicing talking. I was like scheduling talking to myself in the morning, like recording myself, and then in the evening, and then talking to people, and then like just talking and talking and talking and talking. And then at some point, like when all of the like mental chatter and weird things that were going on in my not self or whatever, when that kind of passed, then the frequency of my heart started happening. And I started saying things and I didn't remember what I said. People were, you know, saying it back to me. And it was like, oh, that felt really good. And I'm like, oh, but what did I say again? What did I want? Could she repeat it back to me? Because I have no idea what happened there. And then like more and more talking. And at some point, and that was the weirdest thing, I guess I started feeling it in my body. It really feels like a pull from my chest, from the heart. It really does. It just, I just don't have conscious access to what I want really. So it's like, I can feel the direction. It's like, oh, I don't know, I can feel I want to talk to someone, like someone specific, but I don't know what I'm going to say. I was like, oh, I'm going to like record a voice note for you two. But I wasn't sure what's going to come out, and it was just a steady message. But the more I do that, actually, you know, like speak up when that happens, the more sense I make, if that makes sense. I don't know. It's really bizarre. I never know what's going to come out. Really, I just don't. And there's a lot of like mental chatter still, obviously, but it feels after those nearly 2 years of actually radically going for my like strategy and an authority, I start feeling like myself more. So I think that's why this, like the pull is there, because I had no idea what I want to do for like a year and a half at least. There was no, like, I just didn't want anything. I honestly didn't want anything. I was just tired. I was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to want. I'm this powerful being that is supposed to do this and that, and initiate shit and have big ideas and this and that, and oh, fucking hell, changing the world. I don't know. Oh, it's just like, it's just annoying. Like, honestly, it's annoying because it just plays with your mind. Because none of that is important. What is important is what where your authority moves you. The thing is that you cannot hear your authority or like you have no awareness of that at all when you have to pretend that you're a generator. When you need to respond, when you're in resistance. I mean, you're meeting resistance all the time. Or like people just pissing you off all the time because they have no idea that when they ask you a question, it's just annoying. How would they know? You've never informed them in your life. Like, you're just running away and don't want anyone to bother you. Like, oh, I'm pissed off now. I'm sorry.
Anger.
No, because it's really interesting. I remember I joined online gathering of Marianne Winniger, And if those that haven't heard about Marianne, like she's this person that received her knowledge about human design from Ra himself, and she's been in her experiment like over 25. She's brilliant. And she was doing last year, she still does it much, but she was doing like 2020 and stuff, she was doing those online gatherings and stuff. And it was like, I was fresh into human design and none of those things. So I was like, okay, I'm doing this. She's so awesome. Like, I'm going to join. And I remember breaking down at some point in one of those gatherings. I was like, Marianne, I don't know. Because I'm supposed to be this. I'm supposed to be impactful. But I don't want to be. I don't want any of this. And she was like, okay, but that's not... Look at Ra. Ra wasn't trying to be impactful. He was just himself, and that was making an impact. So, like, I would focus on informing and then seeing if the anger is there. When the anger actually comes back to you as a manifestor, that means that you're getting your power back. And I was like, okay, that makes no sense, but thank you so much for, like, you know, sort of saying stuff to me and blah, blah, blah. But she was like, oh my God, this is such a beautiful realization. And I really grew to appreciate that, because, yeah, as a manifestor, you don't want impact, you want peace. You want to be left alone. You want to do your thing. So all this like mental craziness that is putting manifestors in their heads, I think, this fact that, oh, you're supposed to be this, this, and that, was absolutely not helpful to me, at least. But I was getting with this somewhere. I was going somewhere. Where was I? I don't know. Oh, anger. Oh, I know. Okay, sorry. There's something I want to share. Oh my God. I'm really pissed off with how we treat anger as manifestors in general, and how we talk about anger in regards to manifestors. Because it's like we have this fake strategy of informing. I really recently feel that the not-self theme of anger is also like a fake label for it. Because it really is. Powerless manifestor will not get angry. Like, manifestor is completely conditioned, will not react with anger when someone asks them to do something. They won't, because they had no, like, they gave away all of their power and stuff. And I remember like getting my anger back. And I'm like, oh, this is fire, and this is like overwhelming, but at the same time, shit. Oh, there are things I can do because I have that anger. And obviously that's an old shit, meaning like we used to use anger to do stuff. Now, like, we're not supposed to do that anymore, and neither we want to be honest. It's not a nice thing. But it is power. And what I mean by, I don't think this is a good label, not self-theme anger. Because anger happens when something gets in my way, not when something is not aligned in me, if you know what I mean. I can be as aligned as, I don't know, super aligned and have a fantastic day and everything is great, and I am carrying a coffee from one room to another and I spill it. And now the anger wave, the fire that would go through my body just because I did something that I wasn't expecting I'm going to do. Like, the expectation was I'm going to actually carry this thing to the next room. Oh my God. I don't know. This came out, sorry. Do you want to know something else?
I love it. Stream of consciousness.
Yeah, I love how you're describing it. I have the money line too, and I have a split in my chart where that is separate of everything else. So I wandered the world as an ego manifestor for a long time. And with that specific definition, I recognize that I got called bossy a lot as a child.
Oh my God. Oh, I'm the most arrogant in the room. I'm the most. I mean, my design is a little bit, there's a lot that is about me being in control in my design. That is very, like, I'm still getting kind of accustomed to it because I have no idea like how to deal with this. But yeah, this ego energy and stuff, like that's very, oh, I'm the main bossy lady, like everywhere. Like I really am. People cannot tell me anything. I was called, oh, you're so unapproachable. Like people can't approach me. If you can't approach me, then don't do it. I was like, honestly, like I just, and I was doing so many, I'm a 3-5 and like this third lining life. I really tried many things in my life and many things I really didn't want to do. So I was really bossing people around. But people were also like the fifth line, so they were also projecting that I will actually save their company and I will boss people around for them and stuff like that. That was happening a lot. And oh my God, it's just... I kind of embraced it at some point, in the sense that there's nothing else I can do. I will say not the right thing. I mean, the right thing for me, but like, you know, the elephant in the room kind of situation. I will say that thing. I will, I don't know, call people out. I will say that this has to be done and all of those things. Like it's always been like that. And I've always been called that. But I was fine with it, especially in professional setting. That was all fine. What I didn't like about like being bossy and stuff was in relationships. That was bad. That I hated that because, you know, I have a closed aura. So like when anyone wanted me to be open and nice and enveloping, like having this connection with the other, that wasn't happening. Why would that happen? Like, why would that happen? Like, I can't do it. But I thought for most of my life, like I thought that this is, you know, something is wrong with me. Because I want to, you know, I want to be in control. I don't like when men approach me and try to pull me. Like, fuck off. I don't need you. Go away. Did I tell you to come to me? No, so go away. But it was bossy, and nobody likes bossy lady. You will never find a husband because you're a bossy lady. You will never do this. You will, oh, fuck off. I feel like I'm rumbling. I rumble a lot in my life, to be honest.
I think we're just enjoying your frequency. You could say whatever, and I'm like,
I mean, that's quite dangerous because I can talk about myself all day, all night, no problem at all.
That's what you're here to do.
Honestly, I'm just, oh, I love this. And I was silenced so much as a child. I was literally, I remember very, very distinctly as a child, I wanted to disappear. Not like in a, I don't know, suicide sense or whatever. No, I like, but that was, life was okay. The problem was that when I exist, people notice me and people have a problem with me and people want me to stop being so entitled. That's a very frequency. That's a very, oh, why do you think you deserve this? I'm like, what do you mean? I want this, like the best seats at the table. I'm sorry, like this is just, oh, this is the best, you know, seat in this on this couch. Can I sit here? I'm sitting here. Oh my God. So I'm entitled. I'm this and that, and I should, yeah. When I disappear, that's when people leave me alone, and like I actually can be peaceful. My mum, she's an emotional projector. So that dynamic was like from the get-go, well, that was just wrong. Because there was no bonding for her. There was no like, you know, I felt poked all the time. Like I felt like she's basically, I don't know, destroying my life, destroying my freedom and everything. And when my sister was born, and she's a manifesting generator, she was the right daughter. She was the daughter that, like, you know, was cuddly and like just had this warm embrace. And I remember we had a really proper heart-to-heart with my mum when I was like about 20 or so. It was the only proper emotional conversation that I initiated instead of she was like, you know, nagging me to talk with her. Oh my God, I remember her sharing that sometimes when I was a child, she thought that I want to kill her. That I'm looking at her in a way that she wasn't sure if I want to kill her or something. And I'm like, fuck me. That was pretty heavy, like that's 10 years ago. But now with human design knowledge, I'm like, okay, I get it. Meaning you just have no idea. You cannot feel me. You cannot know. You don't like, obviously. Why would you know? It's like energetically impossible. And also I had no idea that people just can't tell. The moment I read that, I was like, okay, so I'm gonna say many things. I'm gonna inform about everything. And that really changed everything. Changed my life really. Oh, fuck me, I have 7 open centers. Like, fuck off. Like, what is up with this design of mine? It's really weird. Oh, so everything. I went through so many phases. Like properly, I don't know. I had a Catholic phase where I was like full on Catholic. Then I was full on atheist, whatever. I was a punk, whatever, loving creature. I was this, I was that. Aged at some point. I nearly, had a family and everything, which is so ridiculous because I don't want any of those things, at least not now. But then I had like a slutty phase. I was really dedicated to many different things. Mm-hmm. And there was so much of it that was all people pleasing, or like me being super emotional even though I'm not, and none of those things. Like, not self is so dependent on everything and everyone, and you have no direction. And I had this anger that sometimes like was flaring up because I just couldn't stand something anymore. So you can do, as a manifestor, so much harm and so much, because you're all over the place. And you can, go for stuff and do things. As an ego manifestor, I guess, because I'm a single definition, so like maybe that saved me. I don't know. It was a lot of like, I don't want to do it, so fuck off. So I think that actually, I don't know, I'm rambling now. Ask me. Go on.
Well, I'm curious about
the frenzy with my open head and everything else.
I'm curious about your experience, like watching, we had a question in the comment section, and I was wondering the same thing about, what was life like before human design and after? And I'm curious specifically about people pleasing, and was that a theme that you dealt with?
I think I'm still dealing with it, but I'm tribal, so like people pleasing is different. Mm-hmm. I feel. Mm-hmm. I never cared what everyone thinks. Mm-hmm. No, I only cared what my people think of me. Mm-hmm. And I was kind of, I want to make my people happy. Mm-hmm. And that is still the case sometimes. Now that I'm like so connected to my inner authority, it's less and less so. But it was always my people need to see me in a specific way and blah blah blah. Mm-hmm. The thing is that I'm a 3/5 as well. There's so much projection and this closed aura, and there's like everyone makes up stories about you and this and that, and like this bonds made and broken. That was a massive thing as well. Oh my god. Mm. But yeah, I was always the one that is in the wrong. I was always the one that is blamed for everything. I was always the one that is, not loving people enough, not doing this enough, not like, you just don't care. And after human design, it's slowly like, this is the way I care. Like, I can tell you, but you will not feel it per se. Like, energetically, you will not feel my love. Because love for me is slightly different. And I feel it. But only people that can actually believe and like accept that this weird energetic wall that is between us will be my people. Mm-hmm. But before human design, that was like, there was something wrong with me clearly. because how is it like I love someone, or like I'm in such distress and nobody can see it? Nobody cares for me. Nobody, like, you know, like I'm going through so much, and like, and they think that I'm all okay. And of course they think they're all okay because they have no idea. The only thing that actually like that goes through is like is the anger, or like when I'm actually visibly, I don't know, in tears, then yeah, people can tell because people are not blind or stupid. But they don't know. I was even that was so funny. I had my session with Brayton like what, over a month ago. It was so good. I was watching a replay later on, and I remember how I was feeling during the session. I felt like really small and really timid, and I was like, oh my god, I don't know what's going on. And then I was watching the replay, and I don't come across as that at all, even for me. I was like, she's chill, she's all right. And I'm like, fuck me. If that's how it is to experience me when I don't share that I don't know, I feel vulnerable that day, or I don't know, this and that, and this hurts me. How can they know? They can't know. I used to live with many people. I mean, many. Like there was 5 of us in total. My room was like really separated. It was all fine. It just I couldn't handle the parties. That was no thanks. That's enough for me. But one of my housemates was a manifestor. The rest was generators. And I remember when I was like waking up in the morning and stuff, and like walking past my generator friends, I was like, I could always tell what's going on, and if they're in a good mood, bad mood, like, you know, what's going, if everything is okay. But when my manifestor friend was in that same spot, I was passing, are you okay? Is everything fine? Because it wasn't, I couldn't read their aura either. That was like really significant in my experiment, that I was like, how will I believe that people actually cannot read my aura? Because, you know, there's so much going on inside of me that can't be true that nobody can see. But then you meet a manifestor and it's like, I don't fucking know what's going on with this person until they tell me, no, we're fine. Oh, I love you so much. Like, I miss you. Whatever. Oh my God, thank God you're saying this, because I really thought that like, we're not okay. That was a big, big lesson that I had no awareness of before human design. Like, I thought that obviously I liked them or missed them, like, obviously. Oh my God, I want to share this. So I went on my holidays with my mum and sister and blah blah blah, and I went to Poland for a second as well. I haven't seen my family in aura since I started my human design experiment. Like, I haven't seen them at all, because I live in London, they live in Poland, whatever. I have like nothing. Like, we were in touch and there were those things. I was trying to inform them this is my journey, blah blah blah, but no in-person interaction. So yeah, that happened the beginning of this month, and I was able finally to check the chart of my grandma. And my grandma is a very, very weird human being. Nobody likes to be with her because she's very difficult. And she's very, like, she complains a lot. She's terrible. And she's this and that. And, like, nobody can say anything to her. And she's so bossy. And she does whatever she wants. And, like, all of those things. And then I checked her chart. Unsurprisingly, you can see you responding to what I'm saying. So, she's most probably a 3/5 emotional manifestor. And I'm like, fuck. Now I get it, because she never, my dad is a manifesting generator. And I was a witness to a massive argument between him and my grandma. When he was telling her that he never felt loved, that she never told him that she, like, you know, that she was called this and that, and she was really like loving towards her grandchildren, but she never was loving towards him, and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, of course he didn't feel loved. Like, she has a closed aura. There's like no possibility for him to feel loved, like, obviously. But also, I understand my sister, as I said, is a manifesting generator. My mum is a projector. Like, my granddad she's never like my mum. I mean, they're divorced now, but like it's like we're actually close, and my mum is closer to my grandmother is a mother of my dad than my dad. It doesn't matter, like it's a weird family dynamic. It doesn't matter. The thing is that my grandma never liked my mum properly, and she always had like a weird situation with my sister. I mean, she loved her and all of those things, but you could feel, and also she's very vocal about it, that I'm her favorite granddaughter, which is very, very surprising because ooh, I already said I'm a selfish bitch and all of those things, and I care, and I do care, but like I do think that they're best for me and all of those things, and that's always been the case. And yet my grandma always loved me the most, and then the awareness, dropped that. Of course, she, like everyone around has been telling her whole life what she's supposed to do, asking her for things and all of those things. And I was one of those people that she felt comfortable with because our aura is so similar. Also, we're both 3'5", and everyone else is like 6s or 4s or whatever. Like, funny thing, another one that was really big for me. My grandma had a husband. Like we were calling him granddad because like my father was 17 when they got married or whatever. So for me, he was a granddad. He passed when he was like 57 a few years ago. I don't know. Heart attack. And he was also a weird guy. He was, he was coming back after work. He was sitting in his favorite armchair watching sport. Nobody could come to him and say anything. No, like he was so grumpy and this and that, and he was like so useless, not doing anything, and blah 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 blah. Checked his chart, also a manifestor, emotional. I don't remember his profile at the moment. 6 something. I think there was a 2 as well. But it's like, obviously my grandma loved him, and like even though everyone else was like, no, this is like, why would you want a man like that? Of course she wanted a man like that because he wasn't really, pressuring her to do anything or like be something she's not. Oh my god, he was undefined heart, obviously, so heart attack. Quite when you have the knowledge, it's actually not that weird. My grandma at the moment, she was diagnosed with cancer a year ago, and she's emotional manifestor, never showed anything. And oh my god, like I think I'm still integrating these info, I don't know, because it's just so painful. Because a manifestor that is living a life of a generator, like we just die from the inside. And I remember my grandma saying, like when she used to work, she was like, I'm working until this and this time, and then I'm gonna retire, and I'm gonna like have peace, and then everybody will leave me alone, and this and that. And I'm like, yeah, okay. And she was like, she is more peaceful now that she retired, but still, it's like, whoa. And she was doing so much, so I was absolutely 100% sure that she's a sacral being, but no, she was just living a sacral fucking life. But like during because obviously like she doesn't know her time, like she's old, like she doesn't know when she was actually properly born. She had a different freaking date of birth in her documents because her father fucked up or whatever. She's that old, but the whole day, whole 24 hours, there's no sacral definition that day. And I'm like, okay, cool. Because otherwise, I would have a reason to believe that, oh no, probably she's this. But no sacral definition, the whole 24 hours. She's 100% a manifestor, and she loves me because my aura is in jarring for her.
Yeah.
Like, her body doesn't, I mean, she's basically dying at this point, slowly. Hopefully not, so fast. But she is old, and she's been, hiding the anger and everything for most of her life. And I'm like, fuck, like we need to speak about manifestors more, because it could have been so easily changed. Meaning, the moment you start informing and actually demanding respect as your type, and starting to live the life as your type, I mean the manifest in this case, like it's just so different. And I'm slowly feeling that change. And it's just, oh my God. Oh my God. It's just beautiful. It's just so amazing. Like the life becomes just, and it's so painful. Like when people just don't know what's going on inside your aura. And we're very, very gentle beings, manifestors. We're like all gooey inside. I don't know. I mean, I can't speak for everyone else, but I speak for my gran, because like she was sharing with me certain stuff, and for myself, obviously, for my manifested friends as well. Like there's so much gentleness inside, but it doesn't come across as that. And what to do? But there is something to do. You can actually share what's going on. You can actually inform others. You can actually tell them, oh, like this is actually hurtful, or whatever. I don't know. Or okay, the way you communicate with me. Like I understand that you love questions and all of those things. I understand you want to be advised and asked, but this is not me. I want to have a good relationship with you. I do. That's why I'm trying to establish this new way of communicating, informal, obviously. But it's just, it's painful. Like manifesting life is painful. It's like you have responsibility for everything in your life. You really do. Like there's nothing that will come to me. Like I've waited for many, many years. Like I'm a master waiter. Well, not really waiter.
A master waiter.
But I can wait and wait and wait. I used to be a really terrible waiter though. Like, it was really bad. But I can wait. I honestly can wait. I've been waiting many years before. I've been waiting, because you're conditioned to not do anything. Because when you don't do anything, you're not dangerous, and you're not which is not really true, because like whatever you do, like it gets noticed, especially in like family dynamics and all of those things. It's like I can like I remember like, oh my God, like really honestly sitting in the corner doing nothing, and yet I was too loud. Like reading, and it was bad. It was like I was doing things wrong. I was reading wrong. I was reading too loud. I don't know. Really, like it's a really weird thing being a manifestor. You're so visible, even though you want to disappear. Like I wanted to disappear. I wanted to be normal. That I remember that's from my childhood. Can I be normal, please? Can I be like everyone else, please? I don't know what's going on with this. I have no, I don't know, but something is wrong with me. Clearly, I am clearly very different than everyone else. I don't know why they can, I don't know, socialize many hours. I'm like, I socialize one day a week, and then I'm like, fuck, go away. And people think I'm going to be consistent. Like, oh, I was so amazing at this party because, I wanted to join, and I was enjoying being the life of the party. That's great, but that was one day, and the next day I'm like completely different, meaning no, that like I don't have that energy anymore, thank you. I had this thought recently that consistency really kills us as manifestors, because that's such a sacred thing, being consistent. And like, don't get me wrong, I am an energy type, and I feel that strongly. But it's not a consistent energy. And the world wants us to be consistent. But that's all the time, every day. And I'm like, no. Oh, that's fake generator sound for you. But oh my God, I realized that I was making those sounds so much. Honestly, it's so funny. I still make them when I spend time with my generator friends. Sometimes it just comes out because I'm amplifying whatever they're doing, and it's like, I stopped doing that. Like, what's going on? I mean, I make myself do them over the phone, for example, because it's like, are you there? Are you still listening? Yes, I am. And they're like, hey, you're still there. But other than that, it's really funny that when I realized that I don't make that, those sounds are not natural for me. That was so funny. That was like, oh my God, I'm actually like, I prefer using words or being silent. That's actually my thing. And all of those, oh, well, you do so well. Not me. It's just, what can I do? Nothing. I will use words. Oof. Well, that was nice to share. Sorry.
Don't apologize.
Coming out, and I feel so hectic and crazy, but oh well.
No, people are really resonating and enjoying it. And
it really feels like I'm just hearing over and over and over again the importance of informing, you know, breaking through that when people don't know how you're feeling, or that you love someone, or that you're gooey inside, you know. It's just really reinforcing this, like, supporting manifestors in informing.
Yeah, because you cannot inform too much.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do, okay, like there's always overdoing of stuff, but like informing really, it's better to inform, like, you know, to say too much than too little in our case. It really is. Because all our life, and I'm feeling this, oh my God, it's all about eliminating anger. And anger comes when something gets in the way. But people will get in the way, and they will resist everything you want to do if they don't know what you're doing. Mm-hmm. And the way to actually eliminate that resistance is informing is the only thing we have, like the only thing we can do. And it really does magic. Like I remember, like a very, very, very beginning when I started my experiment, there was something weird that happened. That was like first lockdown in London and stuff, March 2020. And I had a really nice like house dynamic before, and then kind of something shifted. I didn't understand what exactly happened, but I was spending, because I was like doing all this like inner work, whatever, and I was spending most of my time in my room, like just like to the house, and they were going, oh, this is lockdown, and everyone was so anxious and everything, and I was like happy that I can stay alone in my room, but and I don't have to go to work and all of those things. But something shifted, and everyone seemed, and that was like the house full of generators plus me, everyone seemed to be blaming me for everything and having some kind of beef with me. I didn't understand, like it was some kind of projection, I don't know, define whatever. Like I stopped saying anything to anyone, so basically they had no idea what was going on with me. But then I discovered human design, found me. And then, okay, I'm gonna do this. Like I'm a third line, blah blah blah. I'm extreme in the sense that like I will just go for something 100%, and if that doesn't work, then I'm gonna change. But it's working after 2 years, so it's good. But okay, I'm gonna experiment with this informing, even though it feels redundant and really stupid. It really does. Like it doesn't make any sense, because why would anyone want to know what I'm up to? I don't understand. I don't want to know what everyone else is up to. I don't. So why would they want me to share that? Like, no way. But I was, okay, I'm experimenting with this. I'm going to start informing. So I started with like ridiculous stuff, meaning, oh, I'm coming to the kitchen. Oh, I'm making tea. Do you want one? I don't know. I'm going to the toilet. I'm coming back from the toilet. I'm going out for a walk, and I'll be back in 20 minutes. Okay, I'm going to the shop. Do you want anything? But like ridiculous stuff, really ridiculous. And I felt stupid. I felt like, I don't know, a child. I don't know. 2 weeks, everyone loved me again. The whole dynamic changed completely. There was no problem, no beef, no, like, everything was absolutely fine. And we were able to actually hang out later on and all of those things. Like, it was all fine. But there was so much resistance because they had no idea. And that's suspicious. When you cannot read someone, you have no idea what they're up to. obviously you're gonna be like, what's going on? I'm like that with my manifestor friends that don't inform me. Like, they don't know. Like, I don't know. I'm assuming, because I'm a manifestor myself, so I'm assuming that everything is fine. But I can't know what to do. Like, oh my God. And like, I mean, it's not like everyone has to know about everything, obviously. But the more we say stuff, the better. And also, it's all practice. Because then sometimes I don't like this language of, oh, when you want to take action, then inform beforehand. Yeah, okay, but then the mind comes in and there is this question, okay, am I actually taking action now? Or am I not taking action now? Shall I inform this? Shall I blah, blah, blah? And obviously with like big moves and big decisions and stuff like that, yeah, it probably helps to make a list of people that might be impacted and all of those things, blah, 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 what they say. But for me, informing is just like practice all the time. And resistance happens everywhere where I fail to inform. Whenever that, like, you know, I just didn't think about saying something that I was doing without that resistance. Oh no, blah blah blah. You're this and that. Why? How could you do this? What's your motivation? What's so funny sometimes. I'm like now reminiscing on my argument that I had some time ago with emotional friends. I didn't give them heads up of what I'm doing, but I just didn't think that it's important. But it was for them. It really was for them. And it's like, and I didn't inform them in time. So there was like massive backlash. And I was like, oh, okay, 2 years of informing and you're still fucking this up from time to time. Okay, cool. I think that's a constant. It will probably happen multiple times in my life. And like, it will never end. Oh.
It also feels like informing could be, with your definition, pretty vulnerable feeling. With your with being tribal, undefined solar plexus, I mean, obviously you have 7 open centers, but there's a lot of spots for, especially the tribal channel, that you have feeling like informing might feel vulnerable, or telling somebody that you love them just so that they're, you know, to break that resistance, or how you feel about the person.
I can't do it. I'm still very. I'm like, you know how I tell people I love them. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. This is really weird. This feeling. I think I love you. I'm really bad. I'm like really bad. I don't know. I haven't cracked that yet. But I'm much better in the realms of like friendships and stuff. But that I started saying everything good that I have to say about someone straight when I got this information that like nobody can read me, so nobody can know that I actually appreciate them, for example. So the moment I read that, and I was like, oh my God, that's why like people in the past had like issues with me and they thought that I don't like them and all of those things, because I'd never said what I actually think about them. So that was very quick for me to, oh, I need to start doing this, like being, you know, socially generous or whatever, because they just don't know. So I started doing that very, very quickly. But with like romantic relationships, for example, I don't really do relationships anymore. I do like having fun. That's what I do. Because like intimacy is so scary, and also I can't properly be open. So there's always this moment of you're not fully honest with me, or you're this or that, or like you're gonna just, you know, just change me for someone else, or blah blah blah. There's this like weird, I know it's difficult. Being a manifesting woman is difficult as well. I mean, I love it because I come from a family that we're really strong women in general. So like I was always, oh yeah, okay, like I can initiate, like I can initiate men to be, or women to be with me. That's great. However, that is for fun, that's easy. But when I actually have feelings, I have no idea what to do. And also, what you said about open solar plexus, I'm already tired. I'm already overwhelmed when I think about it. It's just so fucking intense sometimes. I mean, I don't really speak about like healthy solar plexus energy, because that's at this point in my journey, it's really, really pleasant and nice. And I have capacity to handle it. It feels good. But most of my life, oh my God, Jesus, like it's just too much. So you can't really say anything, because then this confrontation and everything that you can't really handle is playing out, and you're like, what? No, I'm scared. Okay, I need some input from you, because I'm going on a frenzy. I'm fedlining this, but that's my first time actually talking with someone about human design properly, with someone into human design, instead of just me sharing my journey, blah blah blah. So I appreciate that we're doing this and you're listening to my ramblings. Thank you.
With the informing people around you, what I kind of just saw when you were talking about it was almost like, and not to like degenerate anybody, but what I imagined was like a preschool teacher, like thinking everyone around you is like your little preschoolers, and you have to like let them know what you're doing next, what you're doing next, what you're doing next, and not to like make people smaller than you. But it was just this feeling of, if I were a manifestor, it would be like just constantly informing all of the little people around me what I'm doing next, what's next, what's this, what's, you know. Because then I imagine, like, if you don't do that in a room full of preschoolers, there's going to be tons of resistance, and they're not going to, like, it's going to be chaotic. And it feels like it would be chaotic around a manifestor if you weren't informing.
Yeah. That is correct. But I don't think about, I feel like I'm making people feel stupid when I do that.
Oh.
I do feel that. But it doesn't feel like I don't know, I'm better than everyone else, because I mean, not really like but you know, like, oh, I'm now kind of presenting myself. Sometimes it feels like that, because sometimes I actually have to make myself inform a group of my friends or whatever. But what I wanted to say actually on this, but that's why I don't want, like, I had plenty of my, like, in resistance inside of me against informing, because it just feels stupid. So I'm treating others like they're stupid, basically. Which isn't the case, because they just don't know. So it's stupid for me because I'm inside of my aura, but like, they're outside, they have no idea. So it's not stupid. It's like, you know, I don't know, someone asks a question about what's the type in human design, like, is it a stupid question? No, because they don't know what it is, like, whatever. But what helped me a lot with informing is what my manifestor kind of, I have sessions, manifestor sessions with this manifestor lady, Mila, who's, I think, is live in HD on Instagram. She doesn't like doing social media much, but I really wanted to have sessions with a manifestor to kind of bounce back, like, the experience and stuff. And I wanted someone who's been in their experiment for a long time as well, because I just don't feel the frequency of those people that say, oh, I'm a manifestor and I've been in my experiment for 2 years and now I know everything. But then I look at their content and there's like, they're telling me what to do. How the fuck do you know anything about a manifestor if you're telling me, and not a fellow fucking manifestor, what to do in your fucking, like, whatever you're creating? Fuck off. That's just ridiculous. Pisses me off. Doesn't matter. But I wanted someone who's been in their experiment for a long time, and I found Mila, and that was like, oh, thank God. Because everything I was experiencing, and like the very beginning of Deconditioning, is like, mind goes insane. So like I needed someone to tell me, oh yeah, that's normal. Oh yeah, that's what happens. It's okay. Breathe. Everything will be fine. And I wish I could fast forward for you. It gets better. But what she said at some point about informing, and that was like really important to me, was that when we enter a room full of people, they cannot know if we want to make a cup of tea or we want to shoot them in the head.
Oh.
And I'm in this perspective of they just don't know, informing became easier, like as a concept for me. So, okay, I just need to make sure that everyone that I meet knows that I don't want to kill them. That's what I'm doing with informing. I'm just making sure that they're not in danger. I'm letting them all know that everything is fine. And that kind of, that changed me a lot. That changed it for me. Like in my mind, it became easier a little bit, less redundant. It's like I'm taking care of safety of my people, sort of, because I inform. Which yeah, that reframe really changed for me a lot.
Yeah, that makes sense, because informing is a political strategy. It's not genetic. It's not built into you like responding is for us. It's something that you have to learn in order to, you know, create that flow and release that resistance. But it makes sense that it would feel totally redundant because you don't know how you feel to us, right?
No, I don't. Yeah, it's not mechanical. Like informing is very, very artificial. But it is a practice. Like you can get better at it. It really works. It fucking works.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever you fail, I mean, okay, now I recognize that I failed to inform because the resistance is there. Like it really like the moment you practice that a lot, like it just goes the other way around. It's like, oh, I feel resistance in this. Fuck me. What like where? Oh, I missed something. Someone doesn't know something. Mm-hmm. I should speak more about that. And I remember I was a part of this theatre group. No, I left them in May, I think. But it was very like generated buzz. It was proper. I was still on my like the conditioning journey, and then like quite early in those things when I was doing that. But it was all. There were moments when I was just. There was so much resistance from me to them because they wanted me to be like all of them, and there was a bunch of generators. But also, I was there. They start kind of giving me attitude, like being against me. Oh fuck! I must have missed something. Like I need to tell them more how I'm feeling, what's difficult, what's not difficult. And the moment I said that in the group, every time, the resistance melted. Like you could feel the energy of like like with beef actually melting. It really is magic. It really is. That was a genius. That was a genius move on his part, Raz. We're really something else. We're really different than you guys.
Yeah.
Guys meaning like sacral beings.
Yeah.
Like obviously, like every type is completely different and have their own stuff, and everyone is unique and fantastic and all of those things. Absolutely, yes, but we are not for this world. Like we really are not. We're just so out of date. We're like it really feels that we're redundant as a type. It really feels like that. Like we're just not equipped to be in this like response and invitation shit show from my perspective. But amazingness from yours probably. But it's like I'm just not like I can't adjust to anyone. I can't. I have no. If I want to actually be fine with me inside of me, I'm not here to. I really am not. maybe some like other manifestors, maybe they can like, but they will have it differently because they have different design. I don't know, like split definition or whatever. Maybe something is different. But I'm like, if you don't play according my rules in my relationships, in my like whatever, I will initiate you out of my life at some point. I will, like, and that it just getting stronger and stronger. And I'm like, I need this, this, and this. I don't respond. I don't answer questions. I'm not gonna, you know. And it is a path. Like, you need to teach people that you need these things. And it's really like there's so much backlash because sacral people in my life, especially sacral people, because that's it's a weird, I mean, different relationship because like I'm amplifying so much of the sacral and I want to be like, I had generator envy for 8 years. Like, oh my god, I still would love to have a sacral defined, like so great, but I don't. Fuck that. But what was I saying? Oh my god, I lost my plot. That was important. I want to say that. What was I saying? Do you remember?
You were talking about the sacral and maybe deconditioning the sacral and finding your own path in this generator world.
Oh yeah, it was so different. We're so detached. We cannot adjust. Oh yeah. Okay, got it. Oh my god, the people that were benefiting from a manifestor living generator life, like fake generator life.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, how they hated the moment I started setting boundaries as a manifestor. How they were like, who the fuck do you think you are? What like, you know, what's your problem? Why can't you be like the rest of us? Because it was really, you know, they liked me complaining about the fact that I'm bossy and not really embracing that as something that is just my quality, for example. Because I am bossy, like it's not even that I'm just coming across like that. I just am bossy. But and the fact that I was people pleasing, like my people, I mean, my tribe was supposed to be happy with me. They were all benefiting from that. It's like it's, you know, when the person embraces themselves, yeah, they will then be happy for someone else to embrace themselves. But like those people that I was surrounded with at the very beginning of my experiment, they were not really. They were happy with me not having any power. They were happy with me, like, you know, kind of giving them ego energy to do stuff, sort of. Instead of me actually doing my thing, which, a side note, I still don't know what my thing is, but I will see how that goes. But yeah, the backlash, the like, oh my god, my sister now, like, she calmed down a little bit, but my sister is a manifesting generator, and oh my, like, she hates that we're supposed to, like, our types are supposed to be treated differently. She's like, why? Fair is like, it should be the same. That's what fair is. I'm like, no, like, it depends on the needs of like differentiated human. Like, it's not. And there were so many people in my life that were really, we like you like this. We like you small. Like, you know, people liked my grandma working all the time. Like doing things for people. Oh, I don't like it because, but I might be, you know, I'm really biased because, like, I've been binging Raz Manifestor for past, I don't know how many weeks. So I'm like, I'm all for, you know, oh, it's such a sweet life to be a manifestor, and all, like I can hear Ra and, like, you know, the frequency of his voice and, like, whatever he was saying in those lectures, I can hear it in me right now. It's like the sweetness, but you have to be embraced as a manifester. Mm-hmm. It's really interesting because at the very beginning you don't feel that. You really don't. But then the moment you're able to trust the inner authority, then when it starts, it feels, I don't know, I will keep you posted on my page on how it develops, because that's the real beginning for me, really. Mm-hmm. Like those 2 years really felt like just shattering of everything, and just making space for me to be able to hear something to do. To hear something to, oh, my English, oh my God. Sorry about that. I'm not a native English speaker, as you can hear. So I hope some of it makes sense, though.
Oh, it does.
Someone in the comments said, I love you.
Oh, that's so lovely. Do you have a closed door? Are you informing me that I'm joking?
Actually, there's quite a few manifestors on here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I've been kind of watching the comments.
It's really cool. I loved what Ras said as well, and that's like something that was very, it started being very profound to, like, I felt it's really, really true after getting to know my grandma's design, because he said at some point that a manifestor that is not annoyed, not angry when someone tells them what to do or whatever, is a manifestor that is so conditioned out of being themselves. That it's just like you're just not that, but you are. Like, so there's like this whole journey then of the conditioning to actually get oh, there's such a long comment that got in my way, and I'm annoyed now. I lost my fucking, go away. How can I not see the comments? Oh, it doesn't matter. Okay, I'm gonna just ignore. But you know, like, a manifestor doesn't feel angry for people asking them what to do, well, asking them for stuff and telling them what to do. As a manifestor that is extremely conditioned, and I was really gobsmacked when I understood that my grandma was a manifestor, because she was never. I mean, I've seen her angry in general. Like, there were moments, but most of the time she was not. She wasn't explosive. She wasn't like, she was just keeping everything in. So I was like, no, she can't be a manifestor. Like, this is ridiculous. But she's also an emotional manifestor, so this anger is slightly different. Because like non-emotional and this ego energy, like my anger is very hot and very like and quick. But emotional anger seems to be cold, seems to be very visceral, seems to be probably it's even more unpleasant than my hot anger, but the flavor really seems to be different. And I was like, oh, okay, that's why I couldn't see my grandma being really similar to me, and like I couldn't see her as my type, because we just operate so differently, because like emotional and non-emotional being and stuff. But she's just, the anger goes somewhere else, stays in her body somewhere, but like it doesn't leave her aura. So no wonder she's cancer now and stuff like that. That sounds really bad. but it's like, whatever you don't really express, that stays in your aura. And I can feel that energetically very, very strongly. Like nowadays, like, okay, I have like nearly 2 years of actually practicing a lot of informing and stuff. So it's also, I speak from a different perspective a little bit. But, oh my God. Anything that comes up in my aura right now, like it has to come out. Like I have to speak it out somehow. I need to express it. Otherwise, it's like this energy doesn't have any place to go. So obviously, then I don't know, my organs will be fucked or whatever. I'm like, come on, let's just use our voices, manifestors. I don't know. I don't want to tell you what to do, but can we speak up? No. But oh my God, I'm losing the plot all the time. I'm like going somewhere and then, ooh, something else. And then I'm going to add this. I think I was going somewhere with this, but I didn't get there. Oh well, it is what it is.
It's always fascinating to me how many manifestors I meet and they don't resonate with anger. So I'm really glad that you touched on that.
Yeah.
And it's so important. Like they're it's like doing all of this. I see a lot of manifestors like doing a bunch of unnecessary inner work to like fix themselves, and then also they're never angry, and I'm like, oh. Oh, but I don't want to initiate a manifestor into human design, so I'm just like, I'll just wait. Just wait.
I love that for you. That's so lovely. So cool. Oh, I like my attractions has changed, and I want to share that now. I get so drawn to people that are actually and feel the correctness in them. I just go, oh, I love this person because they're themselves. I love this person because oh my god, I want to speak with this person because they feel like themselves, even though they're so different. Anyway, I'll circle back to the anger because it's interesting because I was never I was always angry. I mean, I've never like I might have lost my anger for like a little bit of time or whatever, like I don't know, like when I was going through stuff or whatever in my life, it might have happened, but most of the time I had my anger like with me, and it's really interesting that my anger changed as well, the temperature of it, the more I decondition. And it's very much, I'm not attached to it anymore. It just goes, like flares up. It's like, I don't know, a lighter. It really is like, anything goes in, gets in my way, and it's just, and then it goes away. Because it's not really about the thing that got in the way. It's not that thing's fault. There's no fault. It's just the chemistry in my body. That's why I have a problem a little bit with calling anger the not so theme. Mm-hmm. Because it's not really a state you're in. I mean, it can become if you don't ever release your anger, then yeah, okay, you accumulate that and blah blah blah, and it can be connected with so many things and blah blah blah, and it's never one thing in your body anyway. But it, I think I mentioned that today. I think already that I can be as aligned as fuck and like everything is great, but then something gets in the way, and the anger will be there because it's just chemistry. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It doesn't really matter what it is. I can be in love with the person. They can be like the most important person in my life, and they will, I don't know, say something or interrupt me or like, I don't know, walked on me doing something, and I will be fucking angry as fuck, and I will want to punch them in the face, but I will not because I love them. But the anger will be there, and it will go through my body because that's just it's a reaction to something that is just going not according to my plan. But it doesn't mean that I cannot be angry with myself, for example. That happens a lot as well. Meaning my expectation is that this and this will go smoothly and that I'm in my flow of this, blah, blah, blah. But then I fuck up. And the anger is there, even though it's me. It's not really... It's there when something gets interrupted. But it doesn't mean, it's not attached to those things. Mm-hmm. It's not really about those things. Like we used to use anger as manifestors to do things, but we don't need to do that anymore. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't mean that we as humans, whatever, as a type, we've changed. We haven't. But we're changing the way we operate. But the chemistry is the same. So,
yeah.
Anger is good. I love my anger. I just don't want to, I don't want to use it on people, but I can use it to pump myself up to do something else. It's really, can be very energizing and cool. Sometimes, not all the time. And also it really has to be expressed. It really has to come out. Like it has to leave my aura. Otherwise it's just like, oof, it's bad. But with time, it gets quicker. I mean, the like releasing the anger. Because I think in one of the lectures where I was actually sharing that he used to carry this anger for weeks and stuff because the attachment was there. Someone made me angry. But it's not like that person didn't make you angry. It's just, you know, like something that interrupted, something got in the way. So the anger is there, but it's not that person's really like, you know, if you have informed them that you need to not be interrupted, then probably the anger wouldn't be there. You know, let's like. But then he said that now his anger is very, very quick because there's no attachment, because it's just something that happens. And it really seems to go that direction. It is quick, and it's like, and at the moment it's like sometimes something makes me angry. I mean that happens a lot because like I like to be in control of things, so like, many things makes me angry. Like the more informed it's better. But sometimes I just need to say, oh, this made me angry. And like just you know, do something physical that will kind of help release that. But it has to be said nowadays, from me at least. Oh, this pisses me off. I like doing that. Oh, that was a long comment again. There's so many. Lots of things. The measures of the kind of experience when it gets triggered. Okay, I can't focus on this, and I don't understand what I read. So
I know, it almost hasn't even felt correct to ask these questions.
No. Teresa and I were talking last night a little bit with Brayton about manifesting generator, and I got brought up about, so our not self theme is frustration and then anger, you know, and so you're really giving me something to feel into about anger. And even for me as an MG, just deciphering when I'm feeling that frustration and or anger. So I appreciate that.
As your service. So my pronunciation today is so bad as well. I'm like fluffing all the words, but oh well, it is what it is. But I don't know. Is there anything else you would like to say or mention?
I did have a question about transits and how you experience them, because your face.
Because we got 2034 right now.
Because I know that they're, you know, manifestors and reflectors kind of have this direct connection to the transit, so you feel them a little more than we do. So how has that been for you?
Oh, not my favorite thing. Oh my God. I have like this weird configuration. Like I'm quite often like defined emotionally by transits and stuff like that. There's a lot of like weird things that happen in my body. The more grounded you are in yourself, the less transits really shake you. Like that's like common knowledge. Mm-hmm. So it is really like it's getting better, meaning like I can witness that happening. But there's also sometimes I wake up and I'm like, oh, I'm feeling really like, yeah, emotional, but something is going on. I don't understand. It doesn't feel, I don't feel like myself today when I woke up or whatever. And then I check transits and I'm like, okay. So it really feels like a visitor sometimes when I wake up. But I don't know, I'm still experimenting with it. But I'm also, as I said before, that I don't have any desire to study. I don't remember numbers and stuff. Like I just don't. Mm-hmm. So for me, it's more of a like experiencing different energy in my body than you know, checking properly. I check like, you know, like the not the surface information, but like more or less, oh, which center is defined in my body right now. But it's not really, how to say it. it's not my focus, would say. Because I know that I'm open in 7 centers, yeah. So I know that all of those like energies that I experience every day that are not my ego and throat energy are not mine. So I am experiencing them. I'm just witnessing them as much as I can. But obviously, like, I am still conditioned. Like, it doesn't end.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I'm failing this answer.
Oh no,
No.
that's great. Yeah, I just wanted to know what it's like, you know, and I
Failing
think
this-
that's even more kind of practical because most people don't study the gates and aren't necessarily familiar with them. So just feeling that energy shift in your body and having awareness of it, you know.
You almost have a more pure experience of it if you don't know. Yeah.
That is true. Oh my god! I remember at the very beginning of my experiment, I went in a mental frenzy of reading everything about human design and everything about my gates and everything about. I didn't remember it, and like I don't remember nothing. Like
Yeah.
like everything just came in and out. There's no. It wasn't, you know, I was making myself study that. It wasn't really correct for me. It wasn't like in general. And oh, that was something that I've heard recently, and that was a big one for me. Because obviously, like this is an obvious thing that for manifestors, like the inner authority moves you. Like, and that's the only thing that is really that's the only thing that actually matters. But it should move you to inform as well at some point when you're like connected enough. It should move you to study, to know, like to get to know things or whatever. Like everything you do should be from that. And the fact that I was like making myself study my gates, oh god, like come on, that's just, I'm just laughing at myself now. Oh my goodness. And now like I could say like, in my way, I'm studying that nowadays. Like past few days, I was alone and I was like having so much space and stuff. I was like listening to Raz lectures all the time, and that's the way I study. Meaning, you know, I hear the frequency, I kind of his voice, blah blah blah. I get the information. I make some notes because I'm a quad left. Like I need to make notes. Like honestly, otherwise I don't remember anything. But yeah, it's a different way of experiencing this knowledge than the usual way that I was kind of trying to push on myself at the very beginning. This is how you do it. You get the book, then you open the book, then you do blah blah blah. These are your gates, and I'm like, no, just I was doing it obviously. It just didn't feel right. And the same is the same thing with transits. Like my mind sometimes comes in and it's like, oh, but you should, like, if you need, like, if you were to know about channels and circuitries and this and that, then you would know exactly how this transit should be experienced by you. That's how my mind goes in and, like, you know, tries to lecture me about it. And I'm like, no, you know shit. You don't know. I don't want to do it. I'm not gonna do it. Ugh. Oh my god.
Teresa, did you catch her cross? I was just gonna pull up her chart.
Right angle of Eden, something.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
we're the same cross.
I
Yeah.
felt like asking, and I was like, I think you guys have the same cross. When I peeked at your chart, I thought it was Eden, and I was like, ooh.
Really? I mean, I want to know more about it. I don't even know how I experience it, to be honest.
Well, it's probably for you. It's probably you have, like, they're probably off of open center. I mean, yeah, you're pretty open. So.
Well, it's 12, 11, 36, and 6. So yeah, 2 of them, or no, yeah, 3 of them would be off of open centers. So
with the correct people around you.
Yeah.
So informing to make sure the correct people are around you, pretty important.
my understanding of it, I mean, I got a better understanding of it in class the other day because it's one of those things you don't have to try to do, right? Our cross is just one of those things that after however much time you look around and you're like, oh, shoot, this is the movie that I'm in. You know, it's not something you have to make an effort at. But the way that Amy Lee keynoted it for me really stuck. And she basically said, we're the lotus in the mud. And we're this kind of like idealistic creature that ends up needing to go through all this conflict and emotional conflict with others, and really can see the world for what it is. And that's kind of disappointing to us or frustrating or makes us angry. But she's like, I just think it's so beautiful that somebody could be in the mud and see this world as this muddy, conflicted world and still have like an idealistic way of moving through the world, like still being able to see the good in the world, basically. And I'm butchering this, but she said it much more poetically. But it just landed for me. I was like, oh, you know, so.
Because Amy's clarion, so she can.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. But it does resonate. But it's really funny because it plays out with my, I mean, it plays with my 3-5 and this pessimistic 3-5 view. It's really funny. I don't know. We'll see. I've also heard that people with this cross of Eden, whatever, quite often they have this like event that will kind of throw them out of Eden and stuff. Do you have that?
Yeah, and it's usually early on in life, from what I hear. I don't know what lecture I heard that in, but I heard it from somewhere. It's usually like in childhood. It's something kind of shakes you out of Eden, so to speak, pretty early on, and then you realize how this world really is. It's not really Eden. And then we're seeking, trying to find our way back to Eden.
Sad story.
Yeah, right. We're just the eternal seekers.
So then at the 3-5, you'll have a wonderful way
roller coaster ride.
Yeah, and like how you universalize that experience.
Right. Oh my god, it's a tool. I don't know. It's really weird. Like this, because like with time, you basically, my experience is like that. Because as I said, I don't really. Intellectual knowledge doesn't really do anything for me. It really does. Like I just don't. It does nothing. I really need to go through the experience of it. Ooh, I'm talking like true third line. But it's really interesting that like the more you decondition and the more you follow your own design and like living your own design, whatever, you start feeling those like specific bits in your design playing out. It's so much fun. It's really it's such a trip. Like honestly, it's really cool.
Mm-hmm. It's like watching the movie play out.
Yeah, it really slowly is starting to happen for me. Meaning, there are things that I know I'm going for, but my mind has no idea why, and I just don't know. And hopefully, with time, I will be able to be less silly in my words as well. Because at the moment, I'm like, I fluff so much around the thing that I really want to say, and it's like sometimes I have to like speak for a few minutes before I actually start speaking from my heart properly. It's really funny, but hopefully this will change with time. Because it's just so silly. I'm like, oh god, like talking shit, just like like it makes no sense, and I'm it doesn't matter.
I mean, I can relate to that. I think that's how it is for a lot of us. Even like I don't know if you've heard of wild mind writing, which not everybody resonates with it, but the whole concept is you're basically writing to get to your true self. And it's like you write, and then eventually you get to what your true self is saying. So it could be the same thing for talking. You know, there's almost these layers of not self or just whatever that we have to get through to really hear our true self underneath it.
But it's also funny that I remember Marianne Winniger saying that there's no end line. There's no like, oh, 7 years.
Yeah, like
and now you feel this. Yeah, there's no like none of that. It's really ongoing. It's really interesting. I could see there was a question about open centers. How do I experience them? That's interesting.
I think they were just wondering about how you experience those.
Painfully. I used to like, now I experience them amazingly, meaning like this just, you know, like the energy visits my body. Oh, this is interesting. Like, you know, like it might do something to my conditioning or like trigger something, meaning like, you know, I might have a weird reaction. I don't know, start crying or something because there are processes and like the conditioning happening. But in the past, before human design, I was identifying with everything that was going on in those centers, like everything. I was the most emotional person. I was the only emotional person in my family, which my mother is the only emotional person in my family. I mean, the immediate family. Mm-hmm. But I was the most emotional. I was certain about so many things, about everything. Like, but you know, that certainty was changing every few years when I was just changing my environment. But I was so certain in everything. Like, not self in all of my fucking centers was really, really fucking strong. And I think now that I can witness those energies instead of identifying with them, there is this potential for wisdom. Apparently, that's what people tell me. Mm-hmm. This potential for wisdom. I'm like mocking myself, but also I know it. Like, sometimes things come out of me and I'm like, oh, mm-hmm. Okay. Go, Leena! Great! That was good. But yeah, it's very, very different. Like this, like not identifying with energies that go through me is like the main thing. And that changes everything, really. Because I know that most energies that I experience in my body are not mine. It's like, you know, like in a like simplistic kind of sense. I don't know. We'll see. Like I'm just 2 years in. Like I know nothing really. Yeah. I had no idea what I'm doing here. Like just my ego wanted to jump in here, like and start talking. So I'm talking and like having and trip a little bit, doing this and that, and I don't really know. And I'm like, you know, we'll see.
For those of you that are watching, Leena talks about her journey as a manifestor on her page. Her page is Manifestor Journey Home, and we'll tag her in the caption of this so that you can go check it out and just see what she has to say. She has some really impactful posts. Almost every single one of them that I've seen is like, whoa. It definitely. Thank you for sharing your vulnerability, because with that, so many manifestors we all can benefit from learning more about a manifestor and their process. And so it's just amazing that you decided to inform us all.
I didn't decide. My ego authority pulled.
Yeah.
Wasn't a mental decision, Brandy. It wasn't.
Like, my mind's still wondering why I'm here.
Yeah. It really is. Like, you have, honestly, my mind is like, bitch, you have nothing to say. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
You just proved your mind wrong, because you basically just talked for 90 minutes and it was amazing.
I don't know. I'm like gauging it. I'm like, non-sacral. Like, are you good?
Like,
Oh, it's so funny. No, but I really, like, I so appreciate that you said yes, because it really didn't make any sense in my head. But also, that's this manifested thing that we really need to ask for stuff and initiate them. It's really on us, like it really is. And it really feels incorrect whenever someone is inviting me anywhere, or like it really feels it just jarring. It doesn't work. But the fact that we need to initiate everything, that means that we're also getting rejection a lot. And actually, like I've been experiencing recently that we are actually created for rejection, like to handle rejection. Energetically, rejection doesn't do anything to me. Mm-hmm. What is really scared of rejection is the not self, because it's not a manifestor's world. Like most people are here, created here, like being here to reject others, to reject invitations or accept invitations, and all of those things. So this whole conditioning of the whole like society, world, and everything tells us manifestors that are really created to experience rejection, that rejection is really, really bad. But if really, like, you know, my mind and not self, personality, whatever, blah, 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 however you call it, that's what's interpreting a rejection as terrible in my life. But actually, it's, my aura is created to experience that. Okay, you're rejecting me. I'm gonna ask this person now. my like, you know, my body pulled me to ask this person now. Okay, blah blah blah. It really is this like anxiety and weird stuff that are not really us, that are really, really afraid of rejection. At least that's how I'm experiencing it recently. It's really, really interesting because, okay, the burden is on us, and yes, of course, we can experience rejection. But I think that this fear of rejection is really, really conditioning. Mm-hmm. It really fucking is, in my experience. And that's been really interesting recently. And I was like, okay, so I asked Teresa and Brandy and Human Design Coffee Talk to, like, I invited myself over basically, and I'm like, I hope they'll be down. But if you were not, then, you know, then you're not. That's okay. It is painful because the conditioning is so strong, but it's not really. I really do believe that we're just energetically equipped to handle rejection as the only type, really. I don't know. That's something came out, sorry.
No, it makes a lot of sense because it's almost like it's just meant to bounce off of you, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know, and once you can get used to witnessing yourself being rejected, it's just becomes a way of life, I would imagine.
I guess so. I don't know.
Well, and also probably the more correct you are, the more you're tuned into your ego. Like with this example, we were already anticipating you. Yeah. You know, we were just waiting for your timing.
We just we just sent the telepathic, like, trying to let our auras bring her in. Like, it was like, come on. And you got the memo. And you didn't ask us, you just informed. You're like, I'd like to do a coffee talk.
And we're like, okay.
All right.
It was really funny because it wasn't. I'm actually working on that now because I have more like correct people in my life, meaning people that don't really initiate with me, like more and more. And it's like, it's really funny because like we're like, I'm conditioned out of initiating so much as a manifestor that I do those half-ass initiations because I don't really know how to initiate, and I've like, because of this fucking conditioning of like, oh, who the fuck am I to actually say something or ask for something, I don't really know how to initiate. I'm kind of learning as I go. It's really interesting to kind of see, for example. It's like, I was chatting with Brayton, I think, or whatever, and I was kind of hinting on what I want to talk about or whatever, or like, but like, everyone else in my life so far would just pick this up and just initiate, like do the other half of initiating themselves. But Brayton wouldn't, obviously, because like it's correct as fuck or whatever. But it's like, oh my god, actually his correctness made me realize that, oh, I'm such a terrible initiator, even though like I think I'm initiating. I'm like not really actually asking for things. Not really actually, you know, saying, oh, I want to, I don't know, talk about this, or I want to do this or whatever. Like that's a learning curve as well. Because I was supposed to, like, you know, not do anything, just not to shake the boat at all and, like, you know, just disappear. It's not working. Like, I'm becoming louder and louder.
I'm here for it.
Well, it's so cool because, you know, manifestors are only like 8 or 9% of the population. So, and I've seen so many people commenting as you've been talking. We've had so many manifestors on here. And I can only imagine the impact this is going to have as more and more people share with you and your uniqueness and authenticity, just sharing from your heart straight out the throat about your experience. And yes.
I don't know. Thank you for saying that. It really feels good to talk things out and actually like spend some time with people that are actually into this thing called human design. It's really nice.
Yeah.
Curious what I'm going to initiate next.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
And since it's not a mental decision, so I can't know. Also, like unconscious, like this channel is unconscious. Like I have no bloody idea. No.
You've been such a good demonstration of, you know, even though you're quad left, I feel like sometimes people think, oh, leftness means that I'm strategic and I plan everything out. But none of us are meant to like plan shit, right? If you're really correct, you don't know what's going to happen.
But I plan shit. I really do. I plan everything. I plan my days. But then, you know, whatever happens, and whatever, like, you know, whatever the energy is there for, then that's what I'm doing. Like, you know, I'm so radical that if I don't have energy to take a shower, I will not. Like, I'm honestly, like, there's nothing and nobody will make me back. Obviously, okay, on the third day, energy happens to be there, and I do take a shower. But there were moments when I'm just like, I don't fucking care. I smell. I have no strength for this. I'm not gonna do it. But I do plan to take a shower. I do plan things. It's just, you know, I can't be rigid because I don't really know what's gonna happen.
Yep, we never know.
But planning is a real thing. I do that a lot. I have lists for everything. Do I have them? Not really, but.
As long as you're not holding on too tight to the plan.
It very good and comfortable to actually have them. Like I make those plans and I will have like a strategy with it. But then I need to let it, you know, whatever happens. Yeah. But the plan needs to be there. And when I have no plan for my week, for example, I feel really whipped. It really feels. It doesn't feel correct if I don't know more or less what's going to happen during the week, unless, and that is sometimes what I do. I, for example, plan to not have plans for a specific day.
That's so left.
For real.
That's so left, yeah.
I have no plans. I'm going to stay in my bed and I'm going to see where my body takes me. But it's planned. It's scheduled. Ridiculous, but oh well, it is what it is for now.
Teresa and I have 3 right variables, so we're not familiar with that. Planning to not plan, we're like, oh, the differences. And that's where, you know, everybody's the uniqueness and how that we're so individual and how the nuances of all the chart and the design and everything, and even between, you know, emotional manifestors, splenic manifestors, ego manifestor. You know, Thank you for coming on here and
All the
sharing your
different
uniqueness
flavors.
with us all.
Thank you for saying yes. Thank you for magnetizing me to initiate this.
Yeah, it
Look
worked.
at that. That's a good word. Thank you. Honestly, thank you.
Love
Is it nearly 2 hours that we were
Yeah.
talking?
You just got to take
Oh,
the
well,
sacral storm. So because we know when enough is enough.
But do you want to finish now?
Yeah, I think I feel complete. Do you feel complete? Is
I
there
feel
anything
complete.
else? It's a non-sacral.
Like my body's starting to ask me for things. Like I need to eat. I need to go to the bathroom. Like my body's.
I need to feel slowly as well. Have you noticed? I've started with my coffee and then I was drinking my tea. And then I was
All
like
the
doing this
beverages.
water here. Like,
Yeah. I feel that I've had so much liquid because as you're talking, I'm just like taking it in and I'm cold thirst. So I'm just like, so yeah, I have to go to the bathroom.
I think that's a good point to stop. We all need to go to bed. That's a great moment to stop. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone that came on to come and spend some time with us. That's really nice.
Thank you for being here.
Everyone that will watch the replay. I've already had a few people informing me that they will watch the replay. And I'm like, you have no idea what's going to happen. This is 2 hours of your fucking life. And you said to me that you're going to watch the replay.
We're flowing, you know. We did a 2-hour live yesterday and we're like, oh, holy shit.
Yeah, it was a total accidental 2-hour live. All of a sudden, I was like,
so
well,
I guess this is our thing now.
Like I can feel like starting to really amplify your energy. All charged up, and I'm like, ooh, it's 5 p.m. I should really start to calm down.
So if you're watching, go find Leena on her page. We will tag her in the captions, and yeah, just follow her journey.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.